Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Let's talk. The 2025 NFL MVP is a mystery. Who's going to win it? Who's going to have the best season? And will it be a quarterback? The truth is, most often, it's going to be a quarterback. And I believe the last time a player won the NFL MVP that was not a quarterback, it was Adrian Peterson coming off a major injury and rushing for over 2,000 yards, which, hey, he rightfully deserved that MVP. But in 2025, most of your headliners are going to be QBs. If I can give a right now assessment, I think there's only roughly 6 or 7 elite level QBs in the league. I don't measure elite like everybody else, and I really don't care how other people measure elite. I measure elite on performance and results. And so when we look around the league and we jump into the NFC, who are the elite quarterbacks over there? Well, I believe there's only really 2. I think that's the Commanders quarterback Daniels, and I also think that's the Eagles quarterback Hurts. There's a couple of other young guys who are coming, like Love up in Green Bay. Maybe you could take a look at Brock Purdy over in San Francisco. But when you look around the rest of that league, some people may throw Caleb Williams into that mix, but didn't see anything last year that made me think he was elite or working towards being elite. And so because I'm in the results business, right, I only see Hurts and Daniels from that NFC. Am I saying they're MVP candidates in 2025? We have to wait and see. But when I look into the AFC, is juggernaut after juggernaut after juggernaut as it pertains to the QB position, right? When you go up north, you got Josh Allen, who is the reigning MVP for the Buffalo Bills. When you come down south a little bit from New York, you have Lamar Jackson, and we already know what he is, 2-time MVP, should have won it last year, but that's not this conversation. You have Joe Burrow, who they tried to throw into the MVP, although his team was heading for home and not the playoffs. But they tried their best to make him the MVP or put him in that conversation. Okay? Then when you look around the AFC a little bit more, you have CJ Stroud. He has played like an elite level QB. Really good rookie season. Solid, not great second season, but he did put his team in the playoffs back-to-back seasons, right? That's moving towards an elite talent, while at the same time he was losing his top end wide receivers. Let me think about the rest of the AFC. A lot of people try and throw Herbert out of Los Angeles into that elite QB conversation. I don't know results. Some people try to throw Trevor Lawrence into that elite QB conversation. Not me. No results. So when it comes down to it, we're only looking at, as it pertains to results, although Jaden Daniels only did it for 1 year, it was a really good year, both running and throwing the ball. Jalen Hurts, reigning NFL MVP as it pertains to the Super Bowl, right? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and then of course, I don't ever really put Patrick Mahomes in the regular conversations because of what he's done in his career. He's kind of classified himself as in another stratosphere. So when it comes down to the 2025 NFL MVP, who's a real candidate? None of them. Because the NFL MVP is going to Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals. He has not thrown a pass in 2025 as I'm making this video on what is today, August 28th, roughly 11 o'clock. He has not thrown a pass. He has not scored a touchdown. He has not scrambled. He has not gotten sacked. But if Joe Burrow plays 17 games, because sometimes he does miss some, but if he plays 17 games, he's going to win the NFL MVP. Now, Boulanger, how do you know? Well, tell me how you know. I know because when the NFL QB rankings came out and they gave us the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, number 1 was Patrick Mahomes. That was a Lifetime Achievement Award. Not saying he's not great, but he has not been the best quarterback in the NFL over the last 2 seasons as it pertains to performance and results. He's gotten results, but his performances have been lacking based on what we can compare him to, meaning his own career. I think the second guy was Josh Allen, the third guy was Joe Burrow, and the fourth guy was Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes, already a champion, already an MVP. We understand that we saw shows literally say they felt sorry for Josh Allen and gave him the MVP. We heard people say that live on television. Okay? So he got a "We Feel Sorry for You" award. Lamar Jackson has already won 2. He does not have a chance to win this one. The only way Lamar Jackson can have a chance at winning this year's MVP is that he has to go for 5,000 yards and 700 rushing yards. That's the only way he can win this MVP. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. But because Joe Burrow is the only guy in that top 4 who has not won any individual acclaim, maybe a Pro Bowl here and there, it's going to him. It's going to him. You see, let me deal with Lamar Jackson, come back to Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson can't win the MVP because he does not have the playoff success. And so people are going to limit him and marginalize him because that's what they're going to point to. They will not, if he has an elite season, they will not measure him on the current season. They will only measure him based on last year's playoff performance. And we understand that the MVP is already voted on before the playoffs are even started. It's just not announced the Super Bowl week, right? But they're going to penalize him in reverse. So even if he has an elite season, he can't win it until he has some playoff success more than what he's already had. And we have history to prove it to. We can point right to the 2024 MVP. Every metric other than rushing touchdowns, Lamar Jackson was ahead of Josh Allen. I mean, way ahead of Josh Allen. Passing yards, passing touchdowns, interceptions were better, passing efficiency was better, all of that. And he even outran or outrushed, you might say, Josh Allen on the ground. Only thing he didn't have is the rushing touchdowns. But like I said, Josh Allen was a pity award MVP. I'm not banging on him. He's a great quarterback, but we understood what that was last season. That's why I know that Joe Burrow will win the MVP this year. See, because if you remember the conversation at the end of last season, they tried hard and kept talking about ESPN, Fox Sports, ESPN, Fox Sports, and other national sports shows kept talking about, hey, Joe Burrow sneaking to the playoffs. You got to give him the MVP. He has to be the MVP because it's only because of him that they would have made it. Because why? Because that defense was so bad. Well, that's the same reason why Lamar Jackson could have won and should have won the MVP, because for the first 11 weeks, his defense was terrible, especially in the pass. But this is the year that Joe Burrow is going to win the MVP. Now let's go deeper in conversation. They've been trying to find a face of the league since Manning and Brady. And the guy that they handed it off to got off to a good start, but injuries and being beat up and banged up cut his career short, and that was Andrew Luck. They wanted Andrew Luck so bad to remain healthy and be the face of the league. He would even have replaced Aaron Rodgers. Because even though Aaron Rodgers was great, Aaron Rodgers came off as a pouty diva at times. So he was never really the face of the league. If we're honest, Aaron Rodgers was never really the face of the league, even though he won 4 MVPs. It was always Brady, and it was always Manning, and Aaron Rodgers was always talked about in third place. Why? Because after he won that Super Bowl, I think it was 2010, he hasn't done much in the playoffs since, but have fail after fail after fail. So they looked to another, and that other was Andrew Luck. But Andrew Luck kept getting hurt and finally bowed out. And along, basically 7 years later, comes Joe Burrow. Joe Cool, they labeled him. White quarterback, 6'3", 6'4", talent all around him as it pertains to on the field, talent in his arm. And yeah, you heard me say it right. White quarterback. That's what the league wants. Let's just tell the truth. This is not racism. This is not racist. It's just a real conversation. Y'all know what I do here. If you've been rocking with me for any number of months, weeks, days, hours, you guys know what I do here. I have honest ball conversation. That's why we're flipping the name. And so, Joe Burrow, if they can get him that MVP by hook or crook, he becomes what? The face of the league. And I'm cool. I'm cool with it. I don't really care. Just tell me that's what you're doing. I mean, you obviously made it obvious with the Josh Allen MVP last year. You know? So that's who is going to win the 2025 NFL MVP. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you are predicting to be the NFL MVP. And until next time, I'm out.